credit laps. Here's Simon Hill to explain the format further.
Thanks, Gemma. Well, essentially, we've got the guys that have been quickest starting at the back and the guys that have had problems or struggled a bit starting at the front. 4 guys will go immediately. 10 seconds later, we have a group of 11 cars, including lady driver Tess Howell. As we go back, we have then a 30-second delay before Matthew Bartlett heads the next group, including guys like Gary Broad in the 23 car. Brands Hatch winner Paul Quinn heads the group that are starting 45 seconds behind the first man, and 80 seconds behind the first man is Ben Pitch, Steve Williams, Dave Porter and others. Right at the back though, Chris Headland, Chris Pearson and Andrew Walsh. So as the grid gets ready, 29 cars will take the start, but the 22 car of Anthony Clark will be starting from the pit lane. We see a good clean start though. The Union flag is waved vigorously, and it's Martin Johnson in the fantastic 211R who turns into Oulton for the first time, being chased down by Simon Deacon. Had a spectacular spin this weekend already, so going to be working hard to keep the car in one piece. The guys that are 10 seconds behind the leaders are led away by Stuart Moult. And at the back is the distinctive silver and orange car of Russ Treasure. He had a big moment earlier on this weekend as well. So again, looking to work their way through. 30 seconds behind the leaders. They're headed away by the 13 of Matthew Bartlett and also by the 97 car of Andy Dolan. Back there we see 9 Martin Roberts charging hard, coming down through into the left-hander at Cascades. Now towards the back door, 24 Doug Setters. Looking to his right is the very distinctive yellow and blue car of Paul Quinn, and also the 96 car coming through, starting to make a little bit of progress. And Martin Donnelly, what an absolute rocket ship getaway from the former Grand Prix driver in the 211R. Absolutely charged through the gap between Ben Pitch and Steve Williams, where that gap closes as you see Williams turn in, and a big moment for Ben Pitch. Martin Donnelly understandably backs out of that one very sensibly. Rob Barth joins me, a man who knows Oulton Park extremely well, and he knows what a tough job it is to overtake. How difficult is it going to be for coming from the very back for this man, Andrew Walsh?
Wow, great start there for Andrew Walsh, and an even better start for Martin Donnelly to keep his nose clean side. That gap appeared, he went for it, and then it just closed up in front of him. So Donnelly kind of looking to make it through the first couple of corners. These handicap races, though, phenomenal to see how the handicaps unwind in the latter half of the race. Seeing the quick boys who start at the back, like these guys we're looking at now, coming through to the front.
Yeah, looked like Gavin Kirby trying a very spectacular move round the outside of Martin Donnelly, just about managed to get that one done. And that's really shows just how competitive these guys are getting as the cars charge down into the Druid section of the lap. The 18 car of Steve Williams under pressure from Kirby. Williams just about turning in ahead. Earlier we just saw out of our shot the 80 car of Stuart Mason pulling off and stopping, but Donnelly, he loves this corner, down the inside into Lodge, very late on the brakes. The car doesn't want to stop, but somehow he manages to get the nose of the car and it just edges away, Rob.
Superb move from Donnelly down the inside at Lodge. Classic Oulton Park overtaking manoeuvre. Very late on the brakes. There's lots of grip down on the inside there, and he used every bit of it.
Yeah, good stuff there. And as you see, the 44 car turning in of Stuart Moult, he's working hard to keep himself ahead. It's always a scrap wherever you look. That's the great thing about the Lotus On Track Series. Action all the way. Rob Shipley in the blue car, not giving up though. But this man, his car was full of gravel earlier this weekend. Doesn't seem to be effective at the moment, Rob.
Martin Johnson at the head of the field then. Remember, he was in that first pack to leave at the start, and he's in clean air, pushing as hard as he can now. He'll know the guys behind are coming, and he'll be pushing very hard.
Pushing hard there was Tess Howell, very hard race. So the lady just charging through there on Tom Chataway, going back to see Steve Williams, still under pressure from Martin Donnelly. Kirby still there in the mix, and just behind them, Dave Porter in a 63 car in the grey Honda engine. He had a big moment coming out of here earlier in the race, early this weekend rather, Rob, and that's not a place you want to have a moment, is it?
No, not at all. And here's another one where you don't want to have a moment. Druid's very fast, double apex right-hander, and I've already said before, a bit of an evil bump on the exit there, waiting to catch you out. So coming down into Martin Donnelly's favourite corner, he's gone for it again, down the inside of Steve Williams. He's almost got it stopped. Yep, great move again from Donnelly. So 2 corners on consecutive laps, 2 positions, great stuff. And
really just illustrating how much you're asking of the brakes into that corner. They really are braking to the threshold. Williams comes back quickly. That car's really quick in a straight line, and he's having to now fight a rear guard battle, keeping Kirby. Little tap of the brakes from Porter. also in the background there, keeping those guys behind. 99 James Knight comes through our shot there, as does Martin Roberts in the blue car. And you'll see a great shot of the cars coming through into the chicane. They use a lot of curbing here, Rob, don't they?
They do. To get the best line out of the chicane and up over the hill, they have to take a lot of curb on the way in. So you have to really load the car up and rattle it across the curbs to get the fastest time.
As we see now coming through the Knickerbrook chicane, a corner that has been reprofiled a couple of times over the years. It used to be an absolutely flat-out king. James Knight is trying to put pressure on setters as the cars now cut back to seeing the action of the 13 car, Matthew Bartlett. Again, James Knight, and just getting down the inside there of Martin Rumble in the 87. He almost checked up to get out of the way, Rob.
He did. James Knight moving up the order. I'm just keeping my eyes peeled in the background. I'm kind of subconsciously looking for Andrew Walsh in his flying machine, and there he is. He's up behind the yellow car of Steve Williams.
Yeah, Walsh, well, we knew that he was going to be charging through. The question was how quickly could he work his way through the traffic? The answer is pretty obvious. He's got himself on terms with Williams. He's down the inside, I think, and he had a few more metres. He might have even got down the inside of Kirby, Rob.
Yes, Kirby's going to be watching his mirrors as they come up over the line. There goes Donnelly, here comes Kirby. Yes, and there's Andrew Walsh making his move, and he just drives around the outside of Kirby.
Well, it's interesting because you do get this fantastic mixture of driver ability and car ability. It would be really interesting to see all these guys in equal cars and see exactly how it pans out. We know that the experience and talent of Martin Donnelly, as we see a guy in Russ Treasure who really does like a scrap. He's going to be put under pressure from Adam Hamilton Fletcher, who's trying that. We said they use a lot of curb there, Rob, but not quite that much, perhaps.
Hamilton Fletcher using every single little bit of curb there. We saw the paint being peeled up off the curbing, and Russ Treasure lucky to hang on the inside.
And Simon Deacon just turned in there, a bit of a lock-up there from, perhaps was Tess Howell having a lock-up. Chataway, though, just runs wide on the exit, gets the car turned around, and Andy Dolan has the biggest of big moments of all time there. Somehow manages to keep it on the track.
Someone give Andy Dolan a trophy for his save. That was a great piece of avoiding action.
Well, as the cars now charge once again through the chicane, charging back up towards Knickerbrook, you can see how important it is to get a good exit. Rumble just being passed by. Donnelly makes that one look very, very easy, braking very hard. Really difficult to get the car stopped and turned in for this first part of the chicane, Rob.
Yes, you approach it, it's very steeply downhill, and it's very slippery on the way into the chicane, and there we see Andrew Walsh now right on the back of the distinctive 211R of Donnelly almost.
And you can just get an idea of how hard he's charging. Contact there! He just charges through and barged Donnelly out of the way, but can he get the car stopped? He's having a big moment, almost off onto the grass, guts the back out, somehow catches it. I don't think Donnelly saw that one coming at all.
No, he didn't. He was taking his normal line through the little left-hand kink at Water Tower and got hit.
Yeah, well, you can see he was just struggling to get that car stopped, really working hard, right on the limit of what the brakes could do. He's trying to change down and turn in all the time, just almost ran out of hands and feet to get everything done.
Yes, very lucky to hang on. Good shot, though, of Martin Johnson. He's out in clear air at the moment on the other side of the circuit, pushing hard because he knows these quicker guys like Donnelly and Walsh are coming.
Yeah, that was a great shot from Ben Pitch's onboard camera of Chris Headlam just flying through on the inside. We see Chataway coming through the shot there. He's clearly recovered from that very exciting moment that he was having earlier. And Headlam now down the inside, across the curves, across the grass. Can he get it stopped just? I think somehow he managed to escape. And is that does look like Andrew Walshrob.
Yes, Walsh in his space shuttle-powered Exige there just drives by Martin Donnelly in a straight line and up into P2 by the look of it now, yeah.
Yeah, and he's now got his eyes on Doug Setters just in front of him in the green car. Donnelly, though, is not giving up. He's coming back, has a little look to the left. Doesn't want to get into that situation he had before where he got clattered into. There's Andy Dolan, another one who had that spectacular moment. He recovers, but in turn is under a little bit of pressure from Gary Broad, doing it old school with the open face helmet and the balaclava on there. Well, Jim Clark and the Lotus, that worked well, didn't it?
He'd be proud, wouldn't he? Great shot there of Paul Quinn. The car really loaded up coming through Druids. He's a good driver, always looks like he's got that Lotus well under control.
Riding on board with Martin Donnelly as he comes through Ireland. He's lost the back end of the 211. Bang, there's some contact. Oh, that's surely going to put some damage on the car, and that's really ruined the end of his race, but it hasn't affected this man at all. Andrew Walsh has worked his way through, and he is going to take a well-earned victory coming from the back of the grid. What a superb drive for the man in the number 6 car. So Walsh wins by 14 seconds from Johnston, Gavin Kirby, Chris Headlam fourth, only just by 0.2 of a second. Rob Bevis, Dave Porter, Steve Williams, Tess Howell, Ben Pitch and Russ Treasure in the 11 car round out the top 10.
Oulton, you drove an incredible race. You held that lead right up until the last moment. How did you find it?
Interesting. The first couple of laps were like sailing a boat. I had that much gravel going through it that every corner you wondered what was going to happen. As soon as Walsh appeared, there was just no chance. You could hear him from half a mile behind you, and he just came past me sideways, full power, and enjoyed it. So excellent. Really enjoyed it though.
So, Andrew, a fantastic race, really pulling it through well there, but there's rumours you were sandbagging.
Yeah, I thought I might get away with it with a handicap. Qualify a little bit slower, just make sure you're just in front. And I did it by a couple of tenths in qualifying. First race, just pull a little bit of a gap and then behave yourself. That one, I just thought I've got to go for it. I don't know what my pit crew tell me. I was 7th, they told me. There's only 2 laps left. I nearly chucked it off the circuit.
Well, you certainly weren't confident in handicap race earlier on, but pulling it through there nicely.
Yeah, there's always a bit of an art to sandbagging. I don't think Paul will let me get away with that ever again.
It's been another fantastic day with the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy and 2 race wins for Andrew Walsh, albeit a cheeky one in that second race. Join us next time from Snetterton.